What's the most unexpectedly smart thing your pet has ever done? This was last winter in my Denver studio apartment with Max, my 3-year-old German Shepherd mix. We had our routine. I'd come home from work, he'd get dinner, then we'd settle on the couch to watch Netflix. But in early February, Max started acting weird about the couch. Specifically, about my favorite spot on the left side where I always curled up with my laptop. The first time I thought it was a fluke. I sat down, and Max immediately started whining and pawing at my legs. When I tried to settle in, he became agitated, barking, pulling at my sleeve, trying to physically move me off that cushion, completely unlike him. He'd calm down if I moved to the other side, but the moment I returned to my preferred cushion, the behavior started again. I figured he'd gotten territorial about that spot while I was at work. I tried different approaches, making him stay while I claimed the spot, giving treats, moving his bed. Nothing worked. For 3 weeks, Max would not let me sit on the left side of that couch. It was frustrating. That's where the lighting was best for my laptop, where I could prop my feet up. But every attempt resulted in Max having what looked like an anxiety attack. Max was relentless. He'd plant himself between me and that spot, or lie across the cushion to prevent me from sitting there. If I sat anyway, he'd pace anxiously until I moved. The weird part was he was fine with me sitting literally anywhere else. Other cushions, kitchen chairs, even the floor next to the problematic spot. It was specifically that location he wanted me to avoid. 3 weeks into this, I woke up Saturday morning feeling terrible. Headache, nausea, dizzy, exhausted despite sleeping 9 hours. I figured I was getting the flu. Max seemed agitated too, trying to get me outside, pulling at his leash and scratching at the door. Not now, Max, I feel awful, but he was insistent. Finally, I took him for a quick walk. The fresh air made me feel better immediately. When we returned, Max refused to go near the couch. He planted himself by the front door like he wanted to leave again. That's when I got suspicious. Max's behavior wasn't random. It was consistent and specific. Animals have better senses than humans. Maybe he was detecting something I couldn't. I called my landlord. Is there any chance there could be a gas leak? My dog's been acting weird and I've been feeling sick. I'll send someone over. 2 hours later, a maintenance guy arrived with a carbon monoxide detector. It started beeping the moment he walked through my door. Ma'am, you need to leave immediately. This is reading dangerous levels. We evacuated and called the fire department. They found a cracked heat exchanger leaking carbon monoxide directly into my apartment through the heating vent. The vent located directly behind my favorite couch cushion. The concentration is highest right here, the fire marshal explained, pointing to exactly where I always sat. This leak has been building for weeks. How dangerous? At these levels, prolonged exposure causes headaches, nausea, and eventually unconsciousness. If you'd continued sleeping here without detection, you likely wouldn't have woken up within a few more days. I looked at Max, sitting calmly beside me now that we were outside. For 3 weeks, he'd been trying to save my life, and I'd been annoyed with him for being possessive. The building was evacuated until repairs were completed. When we moved back in, Max immediately went to the right side of the couch, away from the vent. He's never had a problem with me sitting anywhere since. The maintenance guy told me dogs can detect carbon monoxide at much lower concentrations than humans, and often show anxiety around the source. Your dog spent 3 weeks trying to tell you the couch was dangerous. You're lucky he's so persistent. Now, when Max acts weird about something, I pay attention immediately. His instincts saved my life, and I almost ignored them because I thought he was being difficult.